Chair of the Awards Committee, I'd like to call the December 9th, 2021 awards meeting to order. We have a physical quorum represented by Stephen Datz, Ricky Erickson, and Joe Orfano. We also have Laura Dutton and Hai Vu joining us via WebEx. The Office of General Counsel is represented by Regina Ross, and Budget is represented by Lori Whitmer. Before we begin reviewing today's agenda, I'll note that there isn't anyone physically present for public comment. Lynn, did you receive any public comment via email?
No public comment.
Thank you. Let the record show that we did not receive any public comment via email. I'll pause for a moment for callers joining us via WebEx to unmute and speak up. Hearing no comments, we'll proceed with today's regular agenda. On today's agenda, we have items 1 and 3 through 7 that have been reviewed by Procurement and Budget. Note that item 2 has been deferred. The remaining items are now ready to be reviewed by the Awards Committee. Beginning with item 1, representing the minutes from the December 2nd, 2021 Awards Committee meeting, are there any comments or corrections to be discussed? Okay, hearing none, may I get a motion to approve award item 1 representing the minutes from the December 2nd, 2021 Awards Committee meeting?
Joe Orfano, so moved.
And a second?
Laura Dutton, second.
Laura Dutton, second. Thank you, Laura. We have a motion from Joe, second from Laura Dutton. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, minutes are approved as presented. I'll pass it over to Jenny McCollum, our Chief Procurement Officer, to walk us through each of the remaining items before I ask for a motion, beginning with item 3.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Through the chair, award number 3 is a renewal. This is for our environmental general services. It's what we call our small scopes, the smaller type projects. This is for professional services for environmental consulting companies to provide just general engineering support for electric, water, and wastewater operations. These services are used to supplement the JEA staff and require a combination of technical expertise and extensive understanding of the applicable regulatory requirements. Geo Syntax Consultants Inc. is one of 2 recommended awardees. And this recommended amount is $500,000, and the same amount for Aerostar SES LLC. This is the 1-year renewal that of the 2. This is the first 1-year renewal, which would bring us to December 16th of 2022. As a note and just some background, this was originally approved by the Awards Committee in November of 2018 in the amount of $1.5 million for both of the consultants. I'll just make a note that Aerostar's name has changed since then, and that's why you see that represented a little bit differently than our original awardee. Both firms have performed well under the current contract, and again, this is our desire to exercise the first 1-year renewal. The contract increase amount is the projected spend based off of past work over the last 3 years, and funding comes from each capital project budget that requires the services listed in the scope as those projects come up throughout the year. So they're covered within those capital project line items. So I'll pause there and see if you guys have any questions or comments.
Good morning, everyone. This is Hai. I have no issues with the award itself, but I may be wrong, but I thought Geo Syntax had merged with another firm. I don't know if procurement staff looked into that. I thought they did, but I may be wrong.
Okay, we'll look at it before we enter into the award. If we need to do an assignment or a name change, we can do that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Dan, can you take that as an action item with Heather, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 3?
So moved.
Ricky, second. We have a motion from Haivu, a second from Ricky. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion is adopted. I'll pass it back over to Jenny for award item 4.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 4 is a contract renewal. This is for construction debris area management and disposal.
Okay.
So this consists of sorting and loading, transportation, and disposal of our debris to be deposited at a debris management site for JEA. Garmin Trucking Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $863,260. We had an original 3-year term, and this is our first 1-year renewal. This will take us through March of 12th of 2023. Originally, this was awarded in March of 2019 in the amount of $300,000. A contract increase was approved by the awards committee in September of 2019 for a not to exceed amount of a little bit over $1.1 million. As a note, this was competitively bid formally. We awarded it up to $300,000 in the beginning to get I believe in the business you guys step in if this is incorrect, but we did a smaller amount in the beginning to get a better idea of the usage, and then came back to the awards committee for the additional amount. You guys correct me if that's wrong. Garmin has performed well over the 3 years. They would like to utilize this 1-year renewal, and they are asking to award it to the budget. And Garmin has agreed to keep their current pricing for this renewal, so that's huge in this market. So I will pass it to just quickly the business to just confirm, or Dan, I think Dan had confirmed this for High earlier in the week about that $300,000 and then the increase that we had.
Jenny, this is Dan. Yes. What you said is correct. We awarded up to $300,000 originally to help determine the levels, and also because they were a new company we hadn't done business with, a smaller company. We just wanted to make sure they could handle the workload and meet our standards, and they have. We have had no issues with them over the course of this contract.
Perfect. Thank you. I just didn't want there to be any confusion about that. It was formally bid out. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 4?
Joe Orfano, so moved.
And a second? Ricky, second. Okay, we have a motion from Joe Orfano, second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. Pass it back over to you, Jenny, to present award item 5.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 5 is a contract increase. This is for our Greenland Water Reclamation Facility pipelines. There's 3 different capital projects combined into this. The force main will be redirected, will redirect water wastewater from the existing JEA pump station to the proposed JEA Greenland Water Reclamation Facility. The reclaimed water main will convey reclaimed water away from the proposed Greenland facility to an existing JEA reclaimed water system. And the water main is part of the JEA Water Master Plan to convey water away from JEA's north grid to the south water grid. The water main was grouped with the reclaim water main since they share the same proposed route. And this project is being delivered progressive design build. So you have seen this a few times come to the awards committee for various reasons. Garney Company Inc. is our recommended awardee, and the recommended amount is $6,156,627.77. Originally approved by the awards committee in June of 2019 for a little bit over $3.6 million. There were 6 administrative contract amendments issued between that time and September of 2021 when we brought it to the awards committee for a final design fee. The scope of this amendment includes the partial purchase of the ductile iron pipe, HDPE pipe, and associated materials, both for the water main and the reclaim main. The materials have been identified as a long lead time, so we're pulling these out to purchase prior to our final guaranteed maximum price, just to make sure we keep things on schedule. And then I'll note that the overall project budget is almost $50 million. And so just to make everyone aware, the purchase of these materials are well within our budget and where we see this project ending. Our new not to exceed amount is a little over $10.5 million, so we're slowly working our way up. I will pause and ask if there are any questions. All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 5?
Laura Dutton, so moved.
And a second?
High Vu, second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Laura Dutton, a second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. Pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 6.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 6 is another renewal. This is a full agenda of renewals. We've got, this one is for our group medical administrative services with network access, our pharmacy benefits management services, and our stop loss insurance to administer various medical plans for our employees and retirees of JEA. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Florida, Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $30,611,835.64. We bid this out as a 1 year with 4 1-year renewals. And this is our 4th year. So this will be going on this will be our 3rd renewal that we're executing today. So we have 1 more after this. This will bring us through December of 2022. So this is for our calendar year 2022. The second renewal was brought to the committee. You know, each year we look at the fees, and we've got our fees broken out into a table to show you just the comparison from last year to this year. But you can see in the background, you know, kind of where we started. The second 1-year renewal, the administrative fee per employee was $44.22. In our 3rd year renewal, we had an increase, and then we're going to see that increase, you know, stay flat from that year through to this year's plan. So we're up to $45.36 per employee. You can see the comparison. You know, each year we project when we come to you guys the number of employees. So last year when we brought it for the 2021 year, we were projecting, you know, 2,286 employees, and now we're projecting 2,253. So you can see those numbers fluctuate a little bit, but the fee is where we, determine how we're coming up with these award amounts. When we look, that's for our administrative fee, for the medical, and the stop loss fee is going from $54.57 to $59.41. So this one is a little bit different. So sometimes we try to renegotiate the stop loss with Blue Cross every year. If we feel like it's better to go to the market, we will, which we did last year. And so we work with Gallagher quite closely to make sure that the approach to the stop loss is appropriate. And from a negotiation standpoint, Gallagher felt like the increase to the $59.41 was appropriate in the best case scenario for JEA at this time. It's based on high cost claims and its function of loss ratio between the premiums that are paid for the projection of JEA's financial liability versus the claims reimbursement that are paid to JEA. So it also depends on if we have any high risk employees or any lasers that we have. So they help us do all those negotiations. I'm going to pass it to Ann with Gallagher to kind of close this out and see if she wants to add anything else. But before I do that, I'll just make a note that the remaining award amount of, it's about 28 million, a little under 28 million, is calculated by Gallagher's actuary and is a pass-through from Blue Cross Blue Shield to medical and pharmacy providers. So this is all self-funded by the JEA employees. If they are a part of our medical plan, we pay into it. These are the rates that we pay. So these are a little bit more detailed. So Ann, if I left anything out or if you want to add anything for clarification, please do so.
Jenny, thank you. Good morning, everyone. So obviously the biggest piece that we look at are the stop loss protection. And what happens with that is each year we are given several renewal options from the incumbent. So currently JEA is at a 250,000 specific stop loss level. So when those renewal numbers come in, they provide the renewal at 250. They provide a renewal option if JEA wishes to increase that to 275, or if JEA wished to increase it to 300, and they give varying options. There is a long process then done between Gallagher, our actuary, and the JEA team that looks at this to look at how many claims have exceeded 250,000. For this plan year, there have been 3 that have already gone over 250,000. Are they expected to continue into next year? There are many variables that are looked at in determining whether the premium increase is worth staying at a 250 risk, or if you should take advantage of a slightly reduced premium, but take on more risk per person. And that exercise is done every plan year. We look at that, and the determination was made this year that it still is a good risk assessment for JEA to pay that additional premium, but keep the specific stop loss risk capped at 250,000 per person, with the exception of one individual that has a laser going into next year. So again, I know that's very detailed, and it is a quite complex issue, but it is one that is looked at very closely every year with lots of JEA folks and Gallagher folks together. So with that, I am more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. I will say one caveat, Jenny, when we look at those projected claims, and again, that is done by our Gallagher actuary, that is a function in looking at what the actual claims utilization has been for 2021. There is trend that is associated with that. We also have a plan design model that takes into consideration the plan design changes that JEA has opted to do for 2021 and how that equates down to savings or cost shifting to the employees versus the health plan. And so all of those factors go into our actuary coming up with that projected claim total that we anticipate to be around $27 million next year. So with that, I will certainly open it up for any questions that you may have.
This is
I have a
Stephen Natz. I
question.
do have one general question, and it's in
Yes.
regard to coming in under your projections. So at the end of the year, if we've come in under the projections, what happens to the funding? Is it released back to the general budget, or is it carried forward?
Great question. Great question. So that's the beauty of self-funding, right? So that's JEA's money. Those claims are, we have the projected amount of 27 million, but those claims are only funded as Blue Cross Blue Shield, i.e. Florida Blue, cuts the check for your claims. So you never cut the check and send it and let it sit somewhere. You only fund as those check registers happen on a monthly basis with JEA. So if you come under budget, it's money that JEA never spent. It's your money. So it is not money that goes and sits somewhere else. It is always in JEA's pocketbook.
And just to add to that, Stephen, this is Carl Becker. From the internal walls of JEA, what that means is then we just dial down the cross charge for the operation for projections. So you have a certain dollar amount which is sent for budgeting purposes. So that number is just dialed down if the projections are coming in and forecasting for the next year. That's going to be coming in a lower cost.
Very good. I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. And one of the functions that Gallagher does is, just like Carl said, on a quarterly basis, we are meeting with your team and your insurance committee, and our actuary is constantly updating those projections. So if we're trucking along and mid-year it's blown through the roof, everybody knows about it. So we're watching that, we're tracking it, we're looking at it. If we're midway through and y'all are under budget, that too is communicated. Hey, so far, knock on wood, looks like we're having a good year. These are our projections. And it's a little bit of a moving target, but it is always finger on the pulse, watching your claims, watching your projections, and then communicate it back to your finance team, your HR team.
yeah. Just one more thing. Sorry about taking time here, Jenny. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah, just one more thing to add here is back to what Ann was saying, back to the stop loss analysis. It's just a risk component, and it just seems like right now we just got too much high variation above the, let's call it the break-even point of if we draw that stop loss specific amount up, just shows based on our history and numbers that we will be paying maybe less in premium for stop loss, but overall total cost would go up because the claims exposure will be higher. Okay, so just put that as a mental note. And the last one is it increases, we get more better cards. This really, I'll boil it down to a card game. We get better cards in our hand if we have better, let's say, engagement for overall wellness. And that's where I think our opportunity is for our leadership team, for our company. We will have better discussions each year if we start driving this participation in our wellness program up, because what that does, it gives us a better chance to detect these problems that we're seeing for a health claim, large claims and so forth at an earlier state and a more manageable state. So in other words, said differently, right now we're maybe getting up to maybe 40-some%. We need to get that up to 80-90%. Then we'll start talking about total control of our future versus right now we're just kind of playing kind of like Russian roulette here, and hopefully for the best. So anyway, just kind of a point again. There's no silver bullets for medical care, but the most important thing is being proactive, and then we have it in place. But now it's just to drive that through our organization to make sure that we have good participation in our wellness program, and also people that see their physicians and such, because that helps us big time. That's all.
Thanks, Carl.
I have a quick
Lord.
question.
Hey, Laura.
Sorry. This is a lack of understanding of the industry and how that works itself, I imagine. But is there a reason we do this every year? I would consider at some point looking for a longer term, not to exceed.
Yes.
Really, the insurance companies are there, and because we just talked about, Laura, with the variation of healthcare cost, they get very nervous when it goes beyond 1 year. So we love it. We love it to see it like multi-year, but trying to find that out and find that in the actual industry and these insurance carriers for a risk, they won't take it on. They're just too concerned that it'll blow up and they got to pay big. So that's why they usually cap it at 1 year. Now, Ann, as Ann was pointing out, there's different components that we lock in, and we're nearing with the overall contract with Florida Blue, their network discounts and the whole the process there, and that's going to be looked at in 2022 for 2023, and she talked about that. So those are some of the back office things, but certain things like this, when you start talking about stop loss, you can't really keep that you can't keep them greater than 1 year. That's just usually the standard. And
Thank you, Carl. It's all stop loss policies, Laura. It's not the one that we utilize. It's all of them. So stop loss is always a 12-month policy.
Thanks, everyone. I'll just note, the rebid for this, we do have another year, but this is an extensive, RFP that we put out that Gallagher works on. I mean, they kind of take the reins, and, it takes, a good 6 months, and then, to make sure that we have everything in place for, benefits and everything that's coming up from a timing perspective. So, really, once this 1 year kind of ends, and if we move forward with a, renewal, they'll be watching all of that. But these things, all have to be timed very carefully. So, thank you, Gallagher, for the partnership and for all that you guys do for us to keep everything moving and on track. And just as a note to the committee, those rebids will probably start happening, if we go through with the next renewal, like almost immediately start looking at what we need to do in the market once that renewal is over. So you'll see it again next year, Laura, and then, we'll start to figure out what our next steps are. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the committee for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 6?
I move. So moved.
And a second?
Joe Orfano, second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Hai Vu, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. Pass it back over to Jenny to present award item 7.
Thank you. Through the chair, this is our last award item, award number 7. It's also a renewal, and this is for our vision coverage for active employees and retirees. Our recommended awardee is iMed Vision Care LLC, underwritten by Fidelity Security Life Insurance Co. We've got the award amount is $181,759.20. This was a 4-year with the 1-year renewal. So this is the 1-year renewal we are asking the committee to approve. And I'll just make a note that the renewal and the award amount is based on the current employee enrollment numbers, and we have it broken down into a table for you guys to see the rates, and those rates are flat from last year. So we would like to move forward with this renewal, and then we'll be working closely to get this, bid back out. Do you guys have any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 7?
Ricky, so moved.
And a second?
I move. Second.
Thank you. We have a motion from Ricky Erickson, a second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. All right, the entire agenda representing items 1 and 3 through 7 are approved for December 9th, 2021. Is there any other business to come before the awards committee?
Through the chair, this is Jenny McCullum. Yes, I just wanted to make a note. We've got our last awards meeting of the calendar year is next week. We will come together at the beginning of the 2022 calendar year. So the January 6th will be our first meeting after next week. So we have a 2-week reprieve. So you guys enjoy that gift of time. On the back end, my team, I've asked my team to make sure anything that we have going to the awards committee, if possible, we have that in before Christmas so we can start reviewing. And we're not sure who's out, what VPs are out. So you might see some things come through in the next week or two to prepare us for that January meeting. And we're going to do all we can to get all that done quickly and out before the holidays. But there might be a few that trickle in, during that 2-week period. So we're going to do our best to get out in front of it, but just wanted to make that note. And we'll see you next week. So I won't wish you guys a happy holiday yet.
Thank you, Jenny. I appreciate everything that you and your team are doing to try to get us this content as early as possible. So thank you. And with that, we're adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.